Alrighty YouTube, another one of Kip's clips, and tonight something new. Going to try Kip's call-in or call Kip, whatever you want. Just a general hangout where anybody and everybody can get involved, no matter if it's just to say hi, impart some knowledge. With the hangout facility, you're able to come in and screen share and show some articles and stuff. So right below this video is a link to the hangout. So if anybody does want to get involved, the link is there. Don't be nervous, man. It is what you see on the YouTubes. I'm flying solo from the start here. I'm hoping Peter will join me later. I know Cookie, one of Kip's clips, and tonight something new. Going to try Kip's call-in or call Kip. Right, who's this guy speaking? Just a general hangout where is it? Anybody and everybody. There we go. Jesus, maybe one day I will remember to mute up all the feeds before I get started. But hey ho. So thanks to Cookie and Peter. I was just actually listening to their hangout. Finished just a few minutes ago. So thanks to Cookie and Peter. I'm hoping Cookie, maybe Peter will drop in at some point as well. Anybody and everybody's welcome. No matter what it is, there's Cookie in the room. How you doing, Cookie? No matter what it is, feel free to use the link that's directly below this clip. Come into the chat, preferably mute up and check your mic before you come on. Cams are optional. What you say is completely up to you. If you want to add to anything we're talking about, bring up a point of your own, change the subject completely, feel absolutely free. You're more than welcome to come and join us. So I just noticed Cookie's came in the room. So Cookie, how you doing? I've just finished actually listening to you and Peter. I need to say it's the first time I was dead relaxing actually listening instead of being in the hangout for a change. So how you doing this evening, Cookie, alright?
Yeah, you got to take a break sometimes. Yeah, I'm cool, thank you. It won't be a really late one for me. So if you're doing another like 1 or 2 a.m. really long, I'll be dropping out before then. And I passed on your message to Peter. He said he will come in for a bit because he's in a similar position. Obviously, he's got to be up for work. So, but he hasn't managed to get in the room yet. So I'm waiting for him to message me and say it's not working.
Well, do say to him as well that below this clip is a link into the room. I do believe it should be working, so there is a link in the info box down below. Yeah, Cookie, I don't think it'll be a late one. I've been dying. I don't know, I've either got a head cold or hay fever. I don't know what it is, but I've been absolutely having fits of sneezes all day today. My nose is red raw from wiping my bugle, so hopefully I won't come down with any fits of sneezing during this. So, Cookie, what I wanted to talk about was state control, well, state censorship of the press is here. The mask is lifted. With when I first woke up this morning, what I seen on the mainstream media was the Leveson inquiry, Millie Dowler's parents, the phone hacking scandal. Jesus, I forgot David Cameron's old aide's name that got charged today, Rebecca
Brooks.
Rebecca Brooks
didn't get charged. I thought it was the other one, Andy Coulson.
Andy Coulson get charged. I seen a good wee picture that was doing the rounds on Facebook, and it was pointing out that Rebecca Brooks was actually the next door neighbour of her barrister, and the barrister's brother and Rebecca Brooks share a horse together and stuff. So over the last couple of weeks as well, I've been sort of saying, well, where is the head of the pyramid? A lot of people point to the bankers and stuff, but nobody's above the law. So if you are
who told you that?
But if you are the bar, if you are a barrister, if you're part of the clique that come together to present the law, you can manipulate the law to suit yourself. And just us, I think I'm stealing that for Gerald Salenti. It's just us. It's not justice. It's just us, and it is and it's very much the head of the snake. I mean, what other institution do you know that can jail prime ministers, kings, queens, anybody and everybody? I mean, we've seen today, after the fallout from the Andy Coulson trial and stuff, we've seen a judge coming out and criticising Mr. Cameron for actually talking about the case before it actually wrapped up proper. So again, there's the Prime Minister. A lot of people go, oh, he's the head of the snake. A lot of people know he's the puppet and part of the theatre show and stuff. But a lot of people think these politicians are actually sort of are actually in a position of power. But ultimately, you can't see beyond these judges and these people that sit up there in funny wigs, so on and so forth, and decide who lives, dies, and who's allowed to stay free and who they cage up and pen up. I just noticed Peter joined us as well. How you doing, Peter?
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm just making a cup of tea after doing that. So yeah, hi, how you doing, Kip? You all right?
I know, bad buddy. How you been keeping, man? All right?
Yeah, good. Yeah, just did another little. Well, I don't know if you were listening, but yeah, another little couple of hours tonight. So yeah, I thought I'd come and say hello. I can't stay too long, so I've got work in the morning, so I can do an hour or so, and then I'll let you all crack on.
Stick around as long or as little as you want, man. Tonight, well, I've put a link below the video and stuff, so I'm hoping to maybe get others from the chat in and stuff as well. Now, I was just talking about the stuff that was very much top of the news cycle today in the UK, and that being the Andy Coulson, the Rebecca Brooks News of the World trial and stuff. Very much propagating the Leveson inquiry and the coming state regulation of the press here in the UK. I actually put up the link with the title of today's show before. I was actually doing a clip earlier on about a map from 1941, and it was during I was doing that clip. People were in the chat talking about the UK column getting shut down. Now, I did catch you two guys talking about it and whatnot. So from what I understand straight away, it seems to be the government are now classifying the UK column as TV on demand. Now, I'll be very interested to see what the UK column put on tomorrow and the information that they offer up. But I don't know. Have you heard anything more than this body that regulates on-demand TV is now classifying the UK column as on-demand television?
Yeah, that's all I've heard. I only caught it late this afternoon, because I did do a little screen share just so people could see the video. It's there on the channel with just a quick message explaining that. But yeah, that's all I know about it at the moment. And Pete's picture looks frozen, which means he's probably been disconnected again. He's got terrible. Are you still there? Oh, yeah. Right. Your picture was frozen, so I thought you'd lost your connection again.
No, it's held on tonight. It went out once, but no, just I only saw what Cookie put up tonight, Kip, as well. So I know the People's Voice had to get a license, didn't they? And they said, they had to get some kind of permission.
They were, not so much anymore, but they are more like an actual TV station, though, aren't they? The level of the technology they're using, the studios, the cameras, the production level, all that kind of stuff. Whereas the UK column, I feel this was part of the reason why I liked it, was making the point that you didn't need all that paraphernalia to be able to output this information for people. So that's why I was saying, the hypocrisy of this, of them saying that now equals live TV, therefore you've got to have a license. Bullshit. He's like, well, yeah, how many more days or months are we going to get away with doing this? Especially considering how much you've been putting out recently, like Kip, you and Daiz and Dean and Fractal Frequencies, and that. The amount that you're putting out, are they now going to turn to you and say you need a license?
Mm.
Well, it's certainly looking that way. Now, I just grabbed up. Well, firstly, I was going to point people in the direction of the UK columns video. Now, it doesn't really say much. other than as a result of all video-on-demand content where the UK column has had editorial control has been removed from the internet. In the meantime, they're going to show you some picturesque, I think Plymouth, picturesque pictures of Plymouth seaside there. So stay tuned, and if you tune into the UK column tomorrow at 1, I believe, they will be doing some sort of an update. On their website, they've got the ATVOD is the regulator that has apparently...
Two chevrons. Sorry, that's an above and below, as above, so below, the two chevrons, two vectors.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's wrong with them putting the line in the A there? Are they trying to tell us something? But again, on the UK column website, not much details, just telling us to join them tomorrow at 1 PM, which will be interesting. Now, I quickly went over to this at Void or at VOD, however you want to announce it. Welcome to the Authority for Television on Demand. Now, I thought there would be a few interesting. Well, firstly, like the Authority for TV on Demand, formerly the Association for Television on Demand, is a Quango regulatory agency designated as the co-regulator of television on demand VOD in the UK by Ofcom. Now, the reason I wanted to go through this is there is basically the UK column could find a way around this by having the editors not being in the UK jurisdiction. So I just wanted to go into a wee bit of this so that maybe moving ahead other people might be aware of how to avoid this sort of a scenario. So the Audio Visual Media Services Directive 2007 of the European Union, yeah, we've got to love the EU, was implemented into UK law through Part 4A of the Communications Act 2003. The directive updated the Television Without Frontiers Directive 1989 to cover the extension of traditional television regulation to TV-like video on demand. This directive was implemented in the UK on the 19th of December 2009 with regulations amending the Communications Act 2003. As a result, Ofcom consulted with the Department of Culture, Media and Sport about proposals for the creation of a regulatory UK-based VOD. The Audio Visual Media Service Regulations 2010 came into force on the 18th of March, making ATVOD Ofcom's co-regulator in editorial matters and the Advertising Standards Authority. Ofcom's co-regulator in advertising matters. The Communications Act 2003 will further revise, giving ATVOD greater enforcement powers in relation to video-on-demand services. Minimum editorial and advertising standards were drawn up and published. So, again, this is them trying to regulate. I don't know. It blew me away, Cookie, the fact that this organisation is popping up and actually claiming jurisdiction over online YouTube videos, which beforehand is obviously, well, YouTube in the past has adhered to, let's say, countries' own laws and blocked certain videos at the request of countries in their own borders and stuff. I think we've all been aware when you've put up a video and it's blocked in that country X, Y and Z. But for them to come out and remove the UK column's content absolutely blew me away. Now, a lot of people will see the conspiracy behind this and stuff and go, oh, it's censorship, it's censorship, it's censorship. And I would say, yeah, well, it's very much censorship. But also, is it just them looking to get? Is it just them trying to get paid as well? Is the UK column so popular?
Both. You are becoming aware enough that you realise that the system is unhealthy and you're trying to stop feeding it. So they set up this bullshittery to force you to give them their pound of flesh. This one, I bet you what they'll do is they'll get in touch with the UK column. They'll say, yeah, you can have all your videos back once you buy a licence. So in other words, just like a mafia-style protection racket, they're saying to you, give us money or we'll smash your shop window.
Well, here's the actual amounts that this mob will be, this this racket will be demanding off the UK column if they do want to exist in their current format on YouTube. Now, I would also be interested to find out whether if the UK column delivered their content under through any other provider, the many YouTube-like websites that are out there, would this have happened as well? Do the governments have as much clout over smaller YouTube-style websites and stuff? So this is at VOD's fee tariff. This is a PDF. If you batter onto their website, which I'm going to go and have a wee look at, you will be able to find the PDF. This was published on June 2014. How convenient, actually. The 13th of June. So they actually priced it up before they started charging the UK column.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just noticed that date on there. That's quite funny, actually. So standard rate, Super A rate, provides revenue 25.9 million. So I don't think the UK column will be having to pay those sort of rates. But even if you go down, they'll probably be looking to pay, I don't know, commercial, small scale, provider revenue less than 100,000. Possibly the UK column would fall under that bracket. So they'd have to pay 183 or 100 and multiple outlets.
Does that, I can't quite read it because it's a bit too small for me, but does that have a listing for non-commercial, i.e. non-profit? Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, so even if you're a non-profit, you still got to fucking pay.
Yeah. Non-commercial, charities, community interest, companies not for profit, yeah. 90, what was it? 90 odd quid? £91.
So there you have it. Even well, we all know charities are pigs at the trough at the best of times, but even if you are disguised as a charity, you still need to pay the piper. So where's this freedom of expression everybody's talking about? Freedom of you're free to pay the piper if you want to fucking say something.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. Very interesting artwork, piece of art. If you haven't seen it, called Orwell's Dream. A guy calls himself Mr. Mel Gibson. Or Mrs. Mel Gibson, sorry, or N Spatchcock, I think is his channel name. But if you search for Orwell's Dream, he did this nice little video piece where he's talking about you having to pay for every word you use. And, you know, you give this system an inch and they will start doing shit like that. Even non-profits, not even a registered charity, but if you put up a video, like a lot of people do here on the YouTubes, you put up a video and say this is non-commercial, non-profit, you're still going to have to pay this fee.
Well, it looks that way. I'm pretty sure I've got the information somewhere. I hope I haven't lost it with the slides I've got, but I have got a section that does break down the sort of, I think it's in here, they talk about who qualifies under the ATVOD. So legislation enables VOD to regulate on-demand programme services, ODPS, as the body designated by Ofcom a service as an ODPS if it meets the following criteria. Now these are obviously the bullet points that they have applied to the UK column, which qualifies them as on-demand TV. The principal purpose of the service is the provision of programmes. So again, this is a minefield for a lawyer. A lot of legalese double talk, which I would argue ultimately, if you get the right lawyer, could fucking apply these rules to anybody and everybody as they please. The form and content of such programmes are comparable to those normally included in television programme services. So, what they're actually saying there, if you're sick of the BBC telling you bullshit and you actually try and match them, even if you want to go down the route of production value over content and stuff, there's nothing wrong with production value as long as it's not at the expense of content, I would argue. But if you want, if you get the people out there that are putting the effort in for production value, the UK column had their own studio set up. They were using their own decoding thing to broadcast on the Google Plus Live, not just all the pre-packaged stuff. So they put a lot of time and effort into it, which obviously now qualifies them as a TV bloody provider.
There's an interesting correlation as well, because we were talking about this earlier when Peter talking about this point, the fact that more and more people are turning away from the BBC and more people are refusing to pay the TV licence bullshit, and just at this time, as that is rising to a crescendo, more and more people doing that, they're bringing this to ready to capture the new corporate model version of it.
Yeah, when the people say set up your own, like, do your own thing and everything else, you are the media, but, did you see at the bottom there how much they were going to fine you if you didn't comply? 250,000.
Just a tangent, but like this fits into exactly what we're speaking about the other night when I was doing a show with Peter. The Dutch game was on while we were doing the show, so I put on my laptop, went in to stream it from ITV. Now I don't know whether you guys ever use the ITV on-demand services or whatnot. So it's asked me to confirm my it's asked me to share my location, which I did. So it's kicked me off of ITV and sent me to STV's website. STV asked me for a email address, my name, blah blah, password, and for my address so they could provide the relevant programming. So I had to go through a full rigmarole just to get the commercial, the free TV that's available in the UK through the internet. Again, it's just it's trying to funnel, and this is the scary thing as well. When I was looking at the programs that had 3 episodes, so ITV are set, and I would imagine BBC later on down the line, but the ITV online services at the moment will be moving to a commercial model where they'll pay people, where they will charge people to watch yesterday's episode of Coronation Street, so on and so forth. Again, it's just trapping everybody in this commercial box where there isn't. You always have to pay somewhere or another. I just noticed Dean's in the room as well. How you doing, Dean? So the other criteria that this mob is asking that would qualify you as an on-demand service, the programs are offered by the service on demand. That is, they may be selected by a user and viewed at a time chosen by the user. The programs are received by the user through an electronic communications network, including terrestrial broadcast, satellite broadcast, cable network, or via internet protocol. Now, I'm not too technical. I would be interested to hear anybody's technical expertise on why they've put internet protocol in there. I wonder if that's...
It covers all the bases. It means no matter what particular language or whatever is used to create the transfer, it's just the fact that it's going across the internet.
Covers everything then.
Yeah.
So there is a person, now this is the bit that goes on about jurisdiction. There is a person who exercises editorial responsibility in selecting and organising the programmes, and that person makes the service available for use by the public generally, and that the person is under the jurisdiction of the United Kingdom as defined by AVMSD. So that was the section I wanted to bring up to point out to the UK column. What would happen if Brian Gerrish decided to go and move to Ireland, and then he would be no longer under the jurisdiction of the United Kingdom? Would he then be able to produce the exact same content, make it available to the general public in the UK, and not be caught by this ATFOD? This is the stuff I think people need to be aware of moving forward if you want to make sure that you don't get trapped by this crap. So just for YouTube and everybody that's watching, I'm currently sitting in the Bahamas, under the jurisdiction of the Bahamian authorities. So don't come and try and shut me down like the UK column. This isn't a TV programme either. Cunt, bitch, whore, slut, fucking nothing, everything and anything you're not allowed to say in TV. This is not a TV broadcast, that's for sure. So any person who intends to provide an on-demand service must give advance notification to the body, must pay a fee, so you must pay the piper. You must retain a copy of all content for 42 days after it's made available. Must not.
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, Pedro? All right? You okay, Peter?
Yeah, I'm fine. Which one?
Oh Jesus, we've got 2 Peters in the room now. Just noticed that. I'll stick with Pedro for Lowlands Peter, and then Peter for the normal one. So nice to see you in, Pedro. Catch up with you later, mate. I'm just going over this this ATVOD stuff at the moment. So must provide material which incites, it must not provide material which incites hatred based on race, sex, religion or nationality, nor provide material which might seriously impair the physical, mental or moral development of under 18s. Now, I would argue that clause alone should shut down all BBC content straight away. That's just me. But hey, like, shut down the UK.com, keep the BBC pedo peddlers and keep them going, and must abide by rules on advertising, sponsorship and product placement, but which Ofcom decides shall be regulated by the Advertising Standards Authority rather than ATVOD. The questions as to which services fall under ATVOD's regulation is currently being tested. Yep, with the UK column. They're testing it to see if they can get away with this crap. In February 2014, ATVOD determined that the feature film streaming and downloading service provided by Sainsbury's Entertainment fell under its remit. So they really are just testing the water and see what bloody jurisdiction they can actually get away with by the looks of things. So, fun and games, and this is, it conveniently comes at a time when the Leveson inquiry, I wanted to pick up, well, in fact, first of what I wanted to do is let's go and have a look who's on the board at ATVOD.
Sounds like a game show. You're not broadcasting a game show. Let's see on the board. Don't get nothing for a pair. Not in this game.
First on the board is a Ruth Evans, independent ATVOD chair. So let's see how independent she was. Ruth Evans had a 30-year track record representing the consumer and public interest, serving as chief executive of the National Consumers Council for 7 years, running 3 charities. Yeah, thank God we can't survive without charities, and chairing a range of public regulatory bodies. Today she is chair of ATVOD, the regulatory of television on demand, non-executive commissioner of the Independent Police Commission, Complaints Commission. So that is who you, like, the argument I'm making here is all these, and I'm going to make it when it comes to the Leveson inquiry as well, you have an absolute show, a pony show going on here, but that shows that there's some sort of a, I don't know, some real choice, or there's actually real people out there doing good work. When you scratch under the, now I said this the other night, it was a fraudulent slip, but I'm going to keep using it. When you scratch under, not the surface, but the circus, you see all these people are part of the same bloody cabal and the gang, they all go to the same schools. And all you do is need to go and look at where these people are educated and you see exactly where their loyalties lie. Non-executive director of CPP Group PLC and founding trustee of Oligarchy Entrepreneurship Foundation, a graduate scheme established to build successful technology companies. So that was the first member of the board. Who else have we got? Nigel Walmsley. Let's just quickly. Until recently, Nigel was a council member of the Advertising Standards Authority. You see how it's one big cock train and all these regulatory bodies, they move from one department to the next, scratching the back of the department at the left, and it really is all the same people, just with different names and different titles. So he was non-executive director of Passenger Focus, the statutory consumer voice for rail and bus passengers, and chairman of the Broadcasters Audience Research Board. So this guy's been actually on the chairman of researching the Broadcast Audience Research Board. So that guy's dipping in to see what the demographics wanting, and now he's up there on trying to regulate on-demand video. And let's not forget, this was primarily put in place to prevent under 18s accessing sexual content on the TV. Now, there was one member. In fact, I want people to bear that in mind, that this ATVOD was primarily set up under the disguise to save children from pornography. Now, The reason I wanted to bear that in mind is if you go and have a look at the Leveson inquiry. Now I'm going to bloody get this wrong. So yeah, so on the Leveson inquiry, you have this Northern and Shell. Let me just find out. Now, well, this actually goes Brian Leveson, the Leveson inquiry. This is the guy that's bastion of freedom, and he's a real good judge. So let's just have a wee quickly look at him. So he's current president of the Queen's Bench Division. Oh, that's interesting. Leveson chaired the public inquiry into the culture, practices and ethics of the British press, prompted by the news of the world phone hacking scandal. Again, do you see how you have all the same players contributing towards the theatre? Which, I mean, who in their right mind could argue that hacking the phone of a dead girl is bad? So they use the heartstrings, they pluck on your heartstrings using this Millie Dowler stuff. And I'm ashamed to see that Millie Dowler's sister is now getting used as a political football and getting paraded on TV to push for the Leveson inquiry. It get pushed for the government to push for further regulating of the press. Now, there's one thing that's very obvious about the Leveson inquiry. Why do you need a law for the press when the journalists were breaking the law? Surely a crime is a crime is a crime is a crime. If hacking a phone is a crime, do them with the existing laws. You don't have to have press-specific laws to make things specifically illegal, or legislation, sorry, written specifically for newspapers, etc. What's good for the public should be good for the press. There shouldn't be any sort of a, right, okay, we're going to regulate the press like this. The press should be dealt with in the same manner as the public. If they break a law, they should be prosecuted the same as any other member of the public. Now, the Leveson inquiry obviously brought up a lot of links and a lot of meetings between politicians and the press. Ultimately, or there's Peter back in. Ultimately, I believe this is all theatre to set us up for a government-sanctioned body, let's see, because they're disguising it as an independent regulator.
I'm not, sorry to interrupt, mate, I just wanted to add in, I'm not sure if this only applied to the USA, but there was recent rumblings again of them talking about having some kind of licensing system for journalists, so that you cannot be a journalist unless you have one of their licenses, which means you're then subject to these kind of restrictions.
And mate, that's again part of the theatre that was the snow job. That's all coming from the snow jobs camp, that they want to now give you a license. You need to be licensed to be a proper journalist. And the way that they're doing it is, I can't remember the exact names of the legislation and stuff, but they're setting up, let's call it, I think it's somewhere along the lines of freedom of the press. I think it's legislation like that, freedom of the press, which sounds great because it enshrines all these rights and privileges that the press have. But then in the small print, exactly what Cookie's saying, you then need to go and get a license to fall under, to have the rights of the freedom of the press. You have to become an official journalist, a government-sanctioned and licensed journalist to be allowed the freedom of the press. It prevents people like ourselves reporting to be journalists, in the sense that we wouldn't be afforded the same freedoms that official journalists would have. So again, Cookie, on man, it's just building into this complete, and that's part of the snow job.
Just add something else in as well. It's the result of what has happened to UK Column. They've proved as well that they will take this action retroactively, because they didn't just stop the UK Column from broadcasting. They didn't send them a message and say, look, we've turned off your ability to broadcast until you resolve this situation if you have to buy a license from us. No, they took all their videos offline. So retroactively, all the content that had been there that was available to us on demand to go into and go, right, yeah, I want to find out about that topic, they talk about that, blah, 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 you know. You can't do that now because it's all gone.
and it's definitely, I think it's worked in the sense of the fear factor. I mean, even as you stated earlier on, Cookie, what's to stop them turning around and saying, this is like a TV programme? I mean, my God, I've got my name underneath my bloody, I've got my name on camera underneath my face. Does that classify now that I'm like BBC content or something? So they will be using this, moving ahead to shut down or restrict a lot more YouTube channels.
The retroactive side of it as well really bothers me, because imagine, for example, let's take a random example, somebody like Mark Passio. Let's say they decide that he is broadcasting in a way that comes under their remit, so they remove all his content from online. All the stuff he's uploaded that people will constantly reference over, quite a long period of time, that's all going to suddenly vanish. To me, that's the equivalent of book burning. That is literally like taking volumes of knowledge and information and blocking it from public access completely, if not destroying it.
It's the digital burning of books, Cookie, and I don't even think that's an overstatement. I mean, back in the day, if you think even like historically, books were the only way to keep a definitive record over time. With the digital age, we now have the ability to keep a digital record, which in theory should last a fair while. But as you're saying, now that we've got the internet police, a lot of stuff is now kept in the cloud. So if the powers that be decide to go and press the delete button on your stuff, a lot of valuable information could be just gone at the push of a button, kind of thing. Okay, so
modern gadgets as well, and the way the terms and conditions are worded or structured, the contract you get into, especially with social media, with that kind of retroactive ability, again, they can just erase stuff from history. If somebody has never actually written a hard copy book, they've never printed out what they've written or anything like that, they've only ever done stuff online, so all their stuff is only available on the cloud, all their stuff is just suddenly taken away.
Well, there's been a thing in the news, hasn't there, about celebrities and people wanting their internet stuff taken off, removed by Google, and they can do it. So, yeah, you're right, they can just... Yep, so you can just disappear.
And guys, I just wanted to touch a wee bit on the man behind the Leveson inquiry, the man that I argued it's part of the theatre to put in state regulations of the press here in the UK. Now Leveson, here's even something what I was talking on earlier on. Leveson was called to the bar at Middle Temple in 1970. He initially practised in Liverpool and took silk in 1986. Taking silks, becoming a member of the King or Queen's Bench because they wear silk robes. Leveson became a bencher in 1995, acted as a recorder between 1988 and 2000, and as a Deputy High Court Judge between 1998 and 2000. In 2000, Leveson was appointed as a Judge of the High Court, Queen's Bench Division, and served as a presiding judge of the Northern Circuit between 2002 and 2005. Leveson was made lead prosecution counsellor during the trial of Rosemary West, who went on to be convicted for the murders of 10 young women, including her own eldest daughter, in November 1995, while sitting with Lord Justice Mantle in the Court of Appeal in 2002 under the Lord Chief Justice, Lord Wolfe. He upheld the murder conviction of James Hanratty. He also presided over the trial of ex-US Marine Toby Studgebaker for charges relating to child grooming over the internet. The second I wanted, the bit I wanted to it was announced in 2011 that Leveson would lead the public inquiry into the issue of British press culture practices and ethics raised by the News International phone hacking scandal. On the 20th of July, Prime Minister David Cameron announced that the scope of the inquiry had widened to include BBC and social media. So the stuff that's getting talked about in the Leveson inquiry is covering exactly the bases we're talking about here with regards to YouTube and anything that you do online. Now let's go and have a wee look at the actors inside the Leveson inquiry. Now, funnily enough, one of, let me see, it was Northern and Shell. So let me see. So co-participants were designated by Leveson as being News International, the Metropolitan Police, Victims, Northern and Shell Network, the Guardian News and Media, Associated Newspapers Limited, Trinity Mirror, Telegraph Media Group, and National Union of Journalists. I would add, all part of the same club. Like, oh, let's have a debate with people who are on the same side of me, and offering it up as some sort of a real debate. Now, Northern and Shell, I wanted to go on, because do bear in mind this ATVOD was set up primarily to regulate adult content that was available on demand. That was the smoke and mirrors they used to get this body into existence. Now you go over to Northern and Shell, who are sitting in on the Leveson inquiry. And who are Northern and Shell? Well, they own lots of things, Daily Express, Sunday Express, Daily Star Sunday, OK Magazine, Star, but they also run TV channels, TVX and Red Hot TV. So you've got companies that run adult content in bed with the Leveson inquiry, and then you have the body that was set out to regulate online demand in part of the same club. So TVX and what's the other one that those porn channels that TVX and Red Hot TV and others, they're okay because they're part of the cabal. They're cool in the hood. They'll probably pay their 93 quid or something a year. But UK Column gets shut down. Again, though, is UK Column getting shut down, or are they just getting held to ransom? I think it could be argued that they're more or less getting held to ransom there. So that was just a few things that I wanted to point out about the Leveson inquiry. Also wanted to say how sickening it is that Millie Dowler's sister is getting used as a political football. Is it any coincidence that they've used her sister, who looks the spitting image of her? I don't know whether it was just me that I don't know if it was just me who noticed that. Her sister very much facially looks exactly like Millie Dowler's photograph that gets used. And again, this is plugging on the heartstrings to manipulate you into a position that otherwise you wouldn't be in. What happened to the Dowler family was disgusting. The people who done it should be charged with the existing laws and charged criminally. There's no need to regulate the press further. And everybody knows what scumbags the papers are, but what they're doing is they're hacking away and they're trying to amalgamate the press to take away the little freedoms they have. So yeah, that was a few of the links I wanted to show. So please go and check out ATVOD. Check out their board, check out who's on the board members, go and look how much they charge for companies, for people to run on-demand services, and it all ties into sort of what's coming up just now with the hacking trial, and Rebecca Brooks being let off and Andy Coulson being charged. So that was just basically everything I wanted to go in. I notice in the chat, Peter from the Lowlands, how you doing, mate? I know you were a wee bit late there and stuff. How you doing, man? All right?
Yeah, I'm here. Had a bit of audio problems and all that, but I'm here. I can hear you. So if you would like to repeat what you just all said, then I'll be happy.
Well, basically...
No. Just kidding. I'll watch
The UK column being shut down today. The UK column now being classed as an on-demand.
I did see that. I did catch that. That happening actually while they were broadcasting live, I believe, right?
Yeah, well, I was actually doing a video and people were just in the chat telling me that they had all their movies removed, so on and so forth, all their clips removed. So I think they're just more or less getting. It sounds like they're getting held to ransom, and they're going to have to pay.
I was watching it live actually, so there was a live stream going on while it happened.
All right,
that's the funny thing. Yeah.
So how you doing today anyway, Peter? Is there anything that's came across your radar today, man? Anything?
Well, we had a weird terror threat in Amsterdam today, so they're prepping us.
Can I just add in before we change topic, because people mentioned it in the chat room as well. It's something like UK Column being sort of an aggregator of information of documentaries and video clips and stuff like that. There used to be a website called BBC5 TV that did similar. It was just an aggregator of interesting documentaries, alternative media, videos and stuff like that. That got shut down, I think, because of the fact that they played on the BBC name. But the majority of the videos, you can find them either on a YouTube channel called BBC5 TV or on Rinth, RINF.TV, which sort of took over what BBC5 website used to do. There's various different videos you can find on there on lots of different topics, loads of interesting stuff. So there are already that kind of knock-on effect of them shutting down places like that where you can get to this information.
I just noticed we had Stevie in the room. Stevie Bloomfield's just dropped out. Stevie,
Stevie B Show.
Oh, is that from the Stevie B Show? Stevie, get back in the room, mate.
Yeah, he's trying to. He's having trouble with his name. I don't think he wants to have his name.
All right. Well, try and sort that. Try and sort that out, Philip. Try and sort that out, Philip, and we'll get.
He's working.
I noticed Daiz has jumped in the room.
Changing your speak anyway.
I noticed Daiz has joined us in the room as well. How are you doing, Daiz?
I'm great. How you doing, Kip? How you doing, lads?
Oh, good, man.
You all right, mate?
Alright, buddy.
Yeah, hello everybody.
Great show, man. Really enjoying the points that have been brought up tonight. I think it's very important that we share up and expose what we're up to this. I don't think it's very equivalent.
Daiz, mate, I don't know what's going on. I think it's over-modulating or something. Does anybody know the technical words? Was that just my end, or?
No, he's breaking up.
It sounds like his phone is in a tin bucket.
So, Daiz, I don't know if it was just a small glitch or whatever, mate. You still with us?
Could hear most of what you were saying, but there was a lot of interference as well.
Oh, there we go. Are you still with us, Daiz?
I'm still here. I'm going to sort my audio. I'll be back with you in 2 seconds.
Mate, that seems to
Sounds a lot better now.
That was a lot better.
That was a lot better.
Hi guys, hope you are all well tonight. I think it's important that we do try and expose what this art VOD are up to at the moment. And just like to echo what Cookie's saying as well, it's a digital version of the book burning that we're seeing at the moment with the retrospective deletion of all this information. And I think Mark Parcel is a great example. Imagine that sort of level of work was just lost to us. That's what we could see, you know.
I think it's important to make the point, if people are running channels and stuff and you could be considered running the borderline of the government shutting you down, back up all your shit, man. I've actually got into a very lazy, when I used to do the screencast and put it and then upload the videos to YouTube, I would have a hard copy myself, which I have backed up. I've got a lot of old stuff that I've backed up. But with this new, when we're doing the clips now primarily through Google+, I'm not getting a hard copy myself. Obviously, I can later on dip back in, download it, and then back it up that way. And I think ultimately that's what I'm going to have to do. Although, if my channel gets shut down, I would just start up a new channel tomorrow and just start saying the exact same shit. So,
if you use, I mean, I only know this from Firefox. There's probably equivalents on other browsers, but there is an add-on for Firefox you can get that allow you to download your YouTube vids. Definitely, mate, download them and keep a copy of them. If you can, store them on a hard drive that's separate to the machine you usually use to connect to the internet to. And I'm not saying this kind of stuff to make people paranoid, but it is true that if they want to, they could sabotage the stuff that's on your hard drive anyway. So don't keep everything all in one place. Make backup copies and have them in a separate system or on disk or something like that. Yeah. Don't just leave them all sat on your primary drive, because they can erase that if they want to.
And that even goes for, like, let's say, like, even your random idiots who try and hack people because they don't like their channel or whatever can get into your system and muck things up like that as well, Cookie. It doesn't have to be the government want to shut you down. It can be other channels or other people that don't like what you're saying, don't like the cut of your jib or whatever. So, I mean, you were speaking the other day about the YouTube wars or whatever, channels trying to shut each other down and stuff, which is, I don't understand that stuff myself, but aye, so everybody be careful. Back up your stuff on independent devices as much as you possibly can, and even
to put this out there in a sort of collectivist fashion of passing on the responsibility to other people, which I'm not, but I'm putting it out there as a seed to get this across to people. If you've got things like documents, PDFs, bits of information, text information or whatever, if you can, print it out. If you're able to, and you have the ability, you know, you've got the stock of paper and ink and blah, 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 make hard copies. Even if you only ever make one, make a hard copy. Because at some point, something might happen to your system, happen to your files, it gets corrupted, whatever. Hard copy, yeah.
Well, I was going to say there, but I was muted up. Peter was talking about the incident that happened over in Amsterdam today. Now, I had it in my show notes as a bong threat, but that was just me being silly. But there was, Peter, you can elaborate on it, mate. I don't know if, how much more information you've came across, but...
Well, they're not telling really a lot of information. So apparently there was a serious bomb threat made at the Bijenkorf. That's like a Harrods in Holland. A department store with all sorts of luxury goods and cheaper goods also. But it translates into the beehive, which is kind of funny. That is the Bijenkorf, the beehive. It also has that in the logo, beehive logo. So they shut off first at that general area around that shop, and then they extended it until pretty much the whole main city center of Amsterdam was on complete lockdown. And everybody was ushered out, and it went very smoothly. So the test went well, I think.
So do you think?
No, nothing went off. So obviously it wasn't a bomb, I guess.
Do you think it's bullcrap, Peter?
I guess so. Yeah, there could be a real threat made. Some idiot could have made a phone call, and they are pretty jumpy on that stuff. So
somebody got home and noticed a rip in his jumper, so decided to phone in a bomb threat.
Who knows? Yeah, but it was a very well thought of, well executed evacuation of the city center, basically. So. And everybody obeyed.
Obey, slaves, so must obey. So just wanted to quickly say hi to everybody that's in the chat. Soprano Fan, Michael, Bo Radley, Made in the UK, 77, Society, Steve's in, Huxley is in as well. Any of you want to join, guys, mute up. The link is below this clip in the About section. You'll get the Google Hangout link there, so feel free to join if you want to come in and add anything. So there's Paulie's in as well, Soprano 5, 5 dinners. Watched your video the other day, 5 dinners, that was pretty good, mate, I liked it. I'll be keeping an eye on your channel and your further uploads, man. Tarpon Bartos is in, how you doing? Tarpon, if I'm pronouncing that right. There's Olma in as well, how you doing? Could it have anything to do with advertising as Doomwatch and TPV and even Ian Crane's magazines? That's a very good point. Olma, now the People's Voice, I need to be honest, I don't watch any of it, man. I think I watched it for the first week it was on. Seen it for what I don't know, I wasn't a fan. and then just like I think I've caught some of the content that comes through people I enjoy, but I haven't been monitoring it really. But it wouldn't surprise me if they're advertising like mofos. That's why they would need to get a license by the Advertising Authority. With regards to the UK column, I've only ever really seen them advertise their own sort of a magazine. Don't know in the legal world if they can catch people out that way. There's Nuns Flower. They got about 15 PDFs on the ATVOD website describing what they do, corporate reports. They say they have independent members of the public as board members. Huxley was going to say, because that possibly used the same bollocks legislation to remove stuff like this. They should get a grant from the BBC, UK column. There's Bass in the room. How you doing, Bass? Nice to see you back in the chat. Not seen you for a while. Me 42 Dogs, how you doing? Nice to see you in. It's a new name. There's Madonna's X. All YouTube videos come under @Void's interpretation of on demand. Yeah, Madonna X. That's the problem, isn't it? This is them using it as the test case to see what they can get away with. So everybody sitting in the UK producing YouTube channels, YouTube content is going to be regulated with the same regulations that the BBC, so on and so forth, fall under, which I don't think is a good thing. There's Liza Jean. How you doing, Liza? Made in the UK. Polly's in as well. Just making sure I'm saying hi to everybody in the chat. There's Scott Webb. How you doing, Scott? I just found out about what happened to the UK column. Yep, it's a weird one, Scott. That is for sure. So thanks to everybody in the chat. It's dead busy. There's the Jesus of caking. And the license will cost how much exactly? So thanks to everybody in the chat for getting involved. Appreciated as always. As I said, there is a link underneath the video if anybody wants to get involved. Just mute up, join the hangout, and feel free to come and contribute anything you want. If you want to raise a different point, add to what we were chatting about, feel absolutely free. That is not a problem. So yeah. State regulation, control of the press is here in the UK. Today, with the UK column, arguably one of the biggest independent news YouTube channels out there, I would argue. I don't know, Cookie, how do you think the UK column could be the biggest sort of a YouTube news outlet here in the UK?
For the UK, I've stuck with it because it does seem to be, certainly on YouTube anyway, one of the continuous most coverage sort of aggregator of news to do with the UK. Global as well, you know, they talk a lot about geopolitics, but they concentrate a lot more on the UK. I've found at least they're a bit more willing to approach topics that a lot of other places won't, like Truth Loader. You know, the one that I think, yeah, it's sort of like their sort of social media truth channel wannabe. You know, there's groups like that, which it's good. It's another info source, but they seem to constantly just keep reiterating the mainstream agendas, and they won't touch certain subjects like the paedophile agenda in the top levels of politics, stuff like that.
We're chatting a wee bit about Vice. As well, Cookie, and I would argue I'd put them in the same pot, like the young turds, all these perceived YouTube truther news outlets, and when you scratch under the surface or scratch under the circus, you see that they're all controlled. I mean, the young turds was I think Al Gore's news outlet. At one point it was the news organisation that Al Gore was part of. And a lot of people ate the jobby sandwich that they offered up and actually swallowed it. And like Truth Loader as well, I remember when Truth Loader first came out, and it was all like, Truth Loader! And I was like, why the hell is it coming through the ITV YouTube stream? And it was literally ITV rebranded for the new youth truth movement on YouTube, and it was disgusting. It's just absolutely social media.
They were trying to jump on the social media agenda, revolution, whatever you want to call it. You know, the trend of people communicating via social media. But I think as the problem of like the People's Voice trying to replicate the BBC, in a way, I don't think they really get it with the new style of media. So many more people follow each other via Twitter and via blog sites and stuff like that, that they're not like setting mainstream media programs like they used to. Like you used to have the ITN news at 10 and stuff like that. People don't see this stuff in that kind of manner anymore. It's very much a pick and mix for the majority of people.
I just noticed that we've had Vladimir join the room. So nice to have you in the room, Vladimir. I hope your surname isn't Putin. You with us, Vlad?
Or Tepish.
All right,
We
so
don't really want a Vlad Tepish.
well, Vlad, if you get your mic sorted at some point, mate, feel free to batter in. If it is Vladimir Putin, just get a translator on, and we'll be happy to run a few questions by you. So I notice Steve. I notice Steve's back in the room. How you doing, Steve? Did you get your audio issues and that sorted out, buddy?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, no, I've jumped over, I don't know why, but the Google Plus keeps sticking me over on my original page, so I'm trying to sort that out. But yeah, if my audio is fine and everything, then yeah, I'm here now.
Well, thanks for getting involved, Stevie. I know that you've been watching the Hangouts for a couple of weeks now and contributing quite a lot in the chat box and stuff, man. So thanks for getting involved. I don't know, is there any particular point you would like to make or contribute towards what we were chatting about with regards to the ongoing censorship or push for further censorship with regards to YouTube, social media and stuff, mate?
Well, you touched on most of it. I haven't even had a chance to look today, but it's just madness. It's absolute madness. I don't even know. Yeah, like to put a stop, especially on like internet and YouTube. You're just like, so where does this stop then? You know, even what's the other live streaming channel? Ustream, is it? Even Google have pulled them up. So is that going to be under attack as well? You know, it's just, where does it stop, really?
It stops when we're all in the box that they're trying to put us in. Well, maybe that box will just be like the Matrix when you've got a wire coming out your head and then you've got no decision what's getting fed into your head full stop. But as you're saying there, man, it's like the internet revolution was such a great thing. You were able to speak to anybody all over the world. And it is free. Like a lot of people slag YouTube off for censoring stuff. I would argue that at the moment YouTube is a very good place for freedom of speech. I'm literally able to sit up here and say whatever I want without too much repercussions.
You could try and read the small print because it's all in there before you say yes.
The YouTube.
Terms and conditions may apply. That's a documentary out there. You should watch that. It's funny.
Well, I think
apply is the word.
I think if I read the YouTube terms and conditions, I would be put off a wee bit. So I'll stay away from it. I think the worst that's ever happened to one of my videos was it was deemed to had to get put in the plus 18 category. I think that's when I was saying some very unpleasant things about Hillary Clinton and stuff, but you're about to upset somebody along the lines somewhere. But I think at the moment, and obviously this is changing literally on a week-to-week, if not a daily basis, at the moment there is still a lot of freedom of expression to be had on YouTube. Granted, they really have clamped down on copyright stuff. I don't know, there's an argument to be had there whether whether they're right to do that or not. I mean, I'm not a fan of shutting down channels and stuff for copyright. With people that do put up artistic material and stuff, I can see why they wouldn't want their stuff to be parroted, manipulated with, so on and so forth. But yeah, as you're saying there, Stevie, where's it going to end? I really don't know. I think it's going to end when we're all in the box that they want us to be, when the internet is turned into the Netflix, when everything's a Netflix, pay for subscription and you can't get any content unless you pay for it, and it's regulated. Look at what they're putting in place. Look at the bullcrap they're trying to sell us on just now with regards to the net neutrality. That could be another tool that they're putting in place to try and prevent people from getting access to free and open discussions like this.
Right, remember, somebody's just mentioned the Google barges in the chat box, blazing stars there, mate. But don't forget as well that Google is putting up their own satellites, talking about how they want to set up satellites around the planet so they can beam, Wi-Fi, internet, make it available to everybody everywhere, make it ubiquitous around the globe, basically.
Skynet.
And that, yeah, and they are, like if you were listening to when me and Peter and me were chatting earlier, and I was talking about how the energy of nature, the energy of life will find those little cracks and it will emanate, it'll always find a way through out of the box that they're trying to build. In the same way, we are producing stuff that is emanating out through the box they're trying to build. So people keep coming out with new ways of doing this kind of stuff. Like you mentioned Ustream. I can remember when Ustream started a few years ago, and then it got to a point where it's proved popular, it's proved usable, functional, and is making a good profit. So the big Google beast comes along, the big corporate conglomeration takes place, and they gobble it up, and it becomes part of them. And they've been doing that consistently for the last few years, buying up all kinds of businesses, and primarily towards building this Skynet kind of environment.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
and it's easy for us to join their panopticon. We should really be looking at ways to, like, virtual private networking, and there must be open source solutions out there to this sort of hangout thing that we're doing right now. Let's look at leaving their playground. That's what I would say.
There are, mate, but the problem is, I say the problem, it's not so much a problem, it's just a uphill gradient for people to get up. There is a bit of a learning curve, and I can't say I know how to do this myself because I've never tried practically building one. That puts a lot of people off to do with setting this up. But there are already the kind of software out there and the kind of hardware out there that you can put together yourself. There are the concepts of mesh networking where you use Wi-Fi, and every gadget that you utilize is a server in and of itself. So in a network fashion, you build an internet via each of these things pinging and passing on the message until it gets to where it wants to go to. At the same time, there is a technology there where the same methodology can be utilized over radio frequencies. So you're not using Wi-Fi, you're using a much more broadband radio frequency that acts as a carrier for the internet data. But in the same manner, you have every individual unit is a server, and by its network linking together, it allows an internet to be formed from it. You can do that. The technology is already there. It is already being co-opted and corporatized into things such as the commercially available Wi-Fi mesh network systems, like the open hub systems, or when you go into big town centers, they've got Wi-Fi connectivity and all that kind of shit. But it's there and it's available for people as solution tech if they want to get into it. But it is quite a learning curve, and it's something that a lot more people have to be willing to get in on before it will build up a big enough network that we have anything like this now. And VPN, virtual private network, is just a protocol. It basically means that you're communicating in a much more direct, almost peer-to-peer fashion, rather than just going out onto the internet, as it were. So your Wi-Fi mesh network could run as a VPN, just as an open protocol.
Well, people aren't going to go off the sofa and do anything through any altruistic point of view, but a lot of people have been hit financially in the pocket, so they're finding a wee bit of a spine and kind of wanting to try something. So hopefully more people will get involved, but it'd be good if they got involved for the right reasons, you know.
Well, there are some communities that set up their own Wi-Fi networks and all that. You can make your own hotspot and only give people you like the access to it. So. And then you can have and Berlin has a couple of those.
You can also have the equivalent of like gated networks, which are sort of VPN-style isolated networks, but they'll have one gateway that allows you to go in and out of the internet. You know, it's a bit like the gate out into the Wild West. So all this kind of stuff is already happening and out there. It's just it's not yet reached a kind of unity effect where enough people are on it that we end up seeing something that's equivalent to the internet we're used to. Not yet. It's getting there though.
Yeah, they get infiltrated a lot. So just look at the Pirate Bay. They've also tried to set something like that up.
Sorry, I keep trying to sort of butt in there. Touching on the old peer-to-peer internet thing, I touched on that the other day in the chat room with what the Mega Upload boss is trying to do. That's basically what his next internet is. It literally works by you connecting to other computers, a bit like you know, torrents, that kind of thing. And that is what he's currently building and working on at the moment. I haven't looked into it properly, but I do know that is what he is trying to achieve himself.
John McAfee, is that? Sorry.
Sorry, I'm muting myself again there. Yeah, no, it's, what's his name? It's the megaupload.com.
Kim.com.
G.u.n.n, that's it. Yeah, that's what he's trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm. And he'll get shut down.
You'll get shot or shut down?
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish you had the sound effect for two in the head now, Peter.
Can I plant another seed? A little bit of a old tech or low tech seed as well, just to go along with this kind of topic. CB radios and ham radios. Again, a little bit of a learning curve, certainly in respect to the ham radio stuff, if people are interested enough to get into that. But CB radios are really like old style plug and play tech. You know, all you need is a CB radio and a battery to power it, and there you go, you've got a radio frequency way of communicating with people at distance. You know, these kind of things, if you see them at car boot sales and stuff like that, spend a few quid, put them away. You might not touch them for years, but it's a kind of tech that ain't going to go away as long as you don't EMP it or anything silly. You know, it can just sit on a shelf for decades and it will still function when you plug it in. And that kind of stuff is that low-tech way of bypassing all this kind of control.
Well, and a lot of people use it, so. Still.
We were chatting a wee bit about technology and how to combat the bad things that technology can offer and stuff. I came across this today. I'd be interested to see what you guys thought of it. The video was out a couple of days ago. It's only a couple of minutes long, so I'll give it a quick play and you can let us know whether any of you have heard of it.
My name is Daiz, Blair, founder of X-Armor Technologies, where we create wearable technology for protecting your future. Let me introduce to you the X-Shirt. The X-Shirt is an amazing technological wonder. We've been working on it for years, and we finally have a prototype ready to rock and roll and show you. So what the X-Shirt does is it protects you from electromagnetic radiation. It protects you from cell phones, it protects you from Wi-Fi, smart meter, and cell towers, as well as other electromagnetic radiation that's out there. Okay, this is an electrosmog meter, and this monitors electromagnetic radiation. So we're going to see what it picks up with the cell phone here, and it's already picking up information like right now from Wi-Fi. So it's already, you can see it's already kind of picking it up and has some values. So when I move this near the cell phone, what's going to happen is you're going to see that value go up, and it's going to turn red. You see that? And it's starting to give us an audible alert that, hey, there's a high amount of electromagnetic radiation going. So here we still see like quite a bit of electromagnetic radiation being picked up. So we're going to show you with the regular shirt. This is a regular T-shirt, and we're going to show you its protective value using the electroswamp. So there we go. Let's put the shirt over. Okay, here's the X-Armor shirt. X-Armor. Immediately right over it. There you go. So when you're wearing that shirt, you're getting good protection against electromagnetic. And that is real proof right there, folks. That's legit. Yeah. Now, this is something that has not been done. This is the first of its kind. And it's something that you can wear as simple as a shirt. The cool thing about the shirt is it also has antimicrobial, which is like anti-odor features, antibacterial. It also controls temperature, so it can stay cooler when it needs to and warmer when it needs to. So it's an intelligent shirt. In fact, the material is similar to material used by NASA astronauts and the U.S. Special Forces. We have created the shirt, we have the prototypes like you've seen, and now we need your help to take it to the next level.
Now they need our money to take it to the next level. So, good idea or a scam to get money out of people for a piece of clothing? I don't know. What do you think, guys? Do you think it's a
Well, my two most valuable parts are my genitals and my head. So why a shirt? Why start there if you want to do something?
They're coming out with the balaclava next weekend.
That might sell it, but I think it's utter bullshit. It's a metal shirt. It's like the knights, shield and armor. But
yeah, I think the Tin Man for the Wizard of Oz was years ahead of them.
It used us for long enough with our tinfoil hats, you know. So
could be fun when you get tasered in a shirt like that.
Maybe that's what it is.
It is a bit like a finger in the dike as well. It's it's good that it offers you that protection, but it's not solving the problem, really, is it? It's you still got people walking around carrying that bit of technology, the phone or whatever, that's emitting like that, and that's just the phones. So it's not solving the problem. It's just stemming the tide a little bit, and it's a selfish protection of yourself.
And a blast over a bullet wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would argue this is very much put in the category of peddling fear porn, in the sense that this guy realised that there is genuine concerns out there by genuine people that want genuine solutions. And what has he thought? I'll solve the problem, or I can make money from this. I would argue the latter.
Yeah.
Let's do a start-up, dress it up with some bells and whistles and say I'm going to save everybody against the big bad mobile phones. But here, give me £200,000 and I can make a T-shirt that's made out of metal. Maybe that's just cynical me.
It's indignation dollar. It's a big dollar.
Peter, I think it was you I heard earlier on tonight when you and Cookie were doing your show, and you mentioned that the ISIS put them together, and it's the dollar sign, which I found quite interesting.
Yeah, I saw that on where did I see that? I think it was a Facebook post. I saw it, and it was just had a little sort of poster someone had done, and if you take the letters, and you overlay them, it's the dollar sign. And someone in chat before, I don't know who it was, just because I lost connection before, I've just got back on again. I was saying about Freeman Fly, that guy who does all the symbols and works out all the symbolism and goes into ancient and this esoteric stuff as well, and he makes a lot of links and things to stuff. I don't know if you guys have come across his work at all, or yeah, he's an interesting character. So yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Because it is all about money ultimately. That's what they're doing it for, the cash. So
well, you hear most of them complaining and saying, somebody's been trying to rip me off for 20 years, they've stole all my books, I don't have any money. That's like the first part of the radio interview, most of these characters. That's what I've found.
Yeah,
I'm willing to rock up when I've got something to sell you.
The answer to 1984 is $17.76.
Yeah, visit the gift shop on the way out with a lot of it, isn't it? You know.
Infinite cash is the only truth. Everything else is an illusion.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I heard that absolute cracking clip, Peter. I don't know whether you, Pedro from the Lowlands. I don't know whether you caught it as well. It was on the No Agenda show, and it was a Glenn Beck clip. Again, Glenn Beck's going into Obama arresting the Benghazi guy when the guy was making interviews with CNN and stuff, and the Navy SEALs couldn't capture him. And in the same breath, Glenn Beck makes a very good point and then goes, well, to our sponsors now, the Federal Reserve is telling you the worst lies in the world. You need to run out, stock up in gold and lotions and potions. And it was just corporate whoreism at its best, man. I mean, it definitely does detract from people that have got a good message when, well, let's prep. And here I'm going to bring on a guy that's going to sell you stuff that I'm telling you need. It's see-through, it's television, it's nothing more than that, a lot of it.
Should ask Max Kaiser what happened to the Bitcoin.
If there ever was a leprechaun, Max Kaiser proves that.
No, look, Rudowski's the leprechaun, he's smaller than... Did any of you catch Luke Rudowski's interview on Max Kaiser's show?
Putin's son.
Little Putler. It was shameful, man. Like, I mean, this guy does a lot of seemingly good stuff, and then I see him on the Max Kaiser show, and he's talking about what he's doing, and the recent thing down in London that he was at. He was wiping Russell Brand's cum from his mouth as well, and then he stuck Max Kaiser's cock in his mouth and started trying to sell the cryptocurrency as well. It's like, come on, man. Like, you can just... Honestly, to God, if you go and watch his interview with Max Kaiser, the guy, at one point, Max Kaiser talks to him, well, what about cryptocurrencies? And fucking Little Putler goes into a sales speech. It's the way ahead, it's the future, everybody needs to get into digital cryptocurrencies and stuff. And I just seen him being a salesman. I just seen him trying to sell us the Bitcoin cryptocurrency crap.
100% correct.
There's nothing about it anymore, so I hear nothing anymore about Bitcoin. I don't know.
They did not diverse and start launching all sorts of different types of cryptocurrency.
Yeah, of course.
And I know Max Kaiser's kind of like very much... sorry guys, I'm just getting hundreds of feedback. I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from.
Wasn't Bitcoin traded banned in China recently? Bitcoin trading, as in speculating on the value of them and shit like that. I'm pretty sure they banned it in China recently because they were part of the problem of constantly causing it to crash.
Yeah, they mine everything. That's just like in World of Warcraft.
Yep.
It never did it for me, the Bitcoin thing. To be, you know, when it was all going around, I just thought another bullshit thing, you know.
In the end, you have to pay for it to get nothing in return.
The first thing I just smelled was bullshit. I thought, what's this? Bullshit.
You can't get a Bitcoin unless you've got some kind of computer technology, which means you've got to buy the computer technology with fiat paper currency before you can even get your Bitcoin.
I can't believe in a monetary solution at all, man. I think we need to spiritually evolve beyond it. Just you look at the word money, what are we talking about? Mon-I.
Yep, the
and
one.
we're never going to get a solution at the same level of consciousness as what created the problem, you know?
Yep.
And I mean, a lot of the people that were trying to sell you gold bars then were the exact same people that were trying to sell you Bitcoin. And I'm pretty sure that if you want to say you want to speculate in Bitcoin and you do end up a few dollars or whatnot, you have to decloak and get that paid into some sort of a bank account, which then allows you to be traceable. So all this, you're anonymous, they can't track you. So shit, it's lies. Yes, you can trade in worthless digital currencies, but the second you want to go and try and transfer that into anything that's tangible wealth, you need to uncloak. You need to then materialise in the 2D world, the magic world, the paper world that we exist in, and decloak. So there's no way for you to operate making money out of Bitcoin and stay anonymous. It's pretty much it's kind of like stealth airplanes. It's a myth.
Just look at. I think to find that out, you have to look at the numbers from companies that provided Bitcoin payment. See how much they lost on that, because that thing went up and down and up and down, and one day you sell something for 10 Bitcoin, and the next day it's 100 Bitcoin. That is so everybody. It's a scam.
They're like casino chips. They're trying to persuade everybody to have their casino chips.
Yeah, even worse. This is more like Russian roulette.
Yep.
Well, Peter, I know
some people got rich off it. I'm sure.
Yeah, Max Kaiser did.
For sure.
Max Kaiser and Luke Rudowski.
Yeah, he got the feed.
This is why, for a while now, I've been saying to people, if you want to invest your money in some manner like that, if you've got enough cash in your pocket or in your bank account that you feel you want to secure it in some manner, then buy silver. If there's nothing else you can spend your money on, if you're not going to buy yourself a reverse osmosis machine or a solar generator or some other practical use for it, if you really just want to secure it in some way, buy something like silver. Gold's a bit too manipulated. Silver gives you more freedom. Plus, silver definitely has some other real world uses, such as a medicine and as a circuitry enabler, stuff like that. It's got other uses, whereas gold doesn't really.
It's got a bit of cookie. I was going to say to you, I thought gold was used in, I don't know, certain computer components. Am I wrong in thinking that? Am I getting mixed up with silver?
Yeah, it is, and in things like audio cabling, if you've got if ever you got yourself a high-level hi-fi, you'd more than likely have gold-plated connectors and stuff like that. Yes, it does, because it's got a very low resistance latency, so it allows the passage of electricity more readily, therefore audio signal in the old analog styling more readily. This as well ties into part of the mythology of the Anunnaki type stuff. The reason why they want gold is because they use it as an actual energy resource, and then you got monatomic gold and stuff like that. But in the kind of general day-to-day usage of how we make use of these kind of resources, silver has 1,000 times more usage than gold does.
And stop climate change. That's what they use it also for.
It saves gold will save the Anunnaki's planet. But I've just noticed that Vladimir is in the Hangout chat. I know he was having problems with his mic. But Vladimir, you're asking about Freeman Fly. Peter touched on him. I would class myself as a fan of Freeman Fly. I think if that's the information you're after. A very good point of contact. He's got a lot of invaluable information, and I would argue a lot of his research is spot on with regards to symbolism, so on and so forth. Even in the past myself, as I do class, I'm a big admirer of his work and stuff. What he does really, really well. In the past, I've even put out the Freeman Fly conspiracy, in the sense, go into your Googles and put in Freeman. What you'll find is a lot of Freeman Fly's work is top of the Google searches, rather than, let's say, the legalese, the legal lawful Freeman-esque stuff that's also available out there. Just I thought it could be said that Freeman Fly's work under the tag Freeman has helped Google put the Freeman on the land, or legal lawful Freeman a lot down the Google searches and stuff. So there is an argument to be had there about it. I think as long as you don't use same with any sort of a source, as long as you don't use them as your own as your only port of call, the information that you offers on the esoteric side, I think, is pretty spot on and valuable. I just wouldn't get caught in that bubble, because you can end up really, really caught in the esoteric side of things, primarily focus your attention on stuff like that, when I think as part of a healthy diet, you need to look at a broad spectrum of things, not just only the esoteric and the symbolism side of things as well.
It sounds better than truther.
As you just typed in as well, it's something that I think we talked about the other night as well. You can get that oversaturation effect, because yeah, it's a great resource of information and knowledge, but sometimes it's just so much all at once that people feel like they're drowning in it. It really is like falling into the rabbit hole, and everything becomes a bit way out there. You know, David Icke's the same, Michael Tsarian is the same. But if you're interested in the kind of topics and stuff they're presenting, it's worth having a look at. It's just up to you how much time and energy you expend in learning that kind of stuff. Yeah, take it at your own pace. Don't feel that. I think this is a common misconception with a lot of this kind of topic, this kind of stuff that we've been doing. When people first start to breach the denial barrier, they think they've got to run like crazy because they need to learn all this stuff. I've got to learn all this stuff so that I'm truly awake. And you'll just do yourself in. You'll burn yourself out. Yeah. So don't oversaturate yourself, but definitely agree with Kip. Look at various sources. Don't take just his word on it. Look to other places as well, and listen to a mixture of stuff. That's how I've done it anyway. And hopefully it's worked for me. So
yeah, work your way bottom up and not top down, because that's mostly not the right way to enter into this stuff.
Yep.
Don't get caught in anybody's particular pigeonhole, whether it be Alex Jones, David Icke, Freeman Fly, let's say top personalities in this sort of a thing. Don't get stuck in that pigeonhole. I mean, like there's a lot of people out there that only particularly follow one or two people, and to me they just get kept in this very small narrative. I mean, Mark Daiz is a guy I love to rip into because the stuff he puts out is pathetic. He really just does report on all the stuff that he slags off. I mean, the guy is in. He does stay in an Orwellian wonderland, trying to sell you an Illuminati book. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Mark Daiz at all. Just having a look there. Dean's putting up some information about old Bitcoin. I don't know if you want to tell us what we're looking at there, Dean, at all?
I don't know what. Is my audio coming through all right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Just looking through there then. Apparently it's one up New York. Mine's gone black.
Was that article?
Stock exchange. With a number of growing investors turning their attention toward Bitcoin, those who are savvy. It looked like a W from here. Who are savvy are not only looking to purchase the digital currency direct, but are looking to capitalize of those experiencing the most success during the industry. This is where Bitfury comes into the equation. The Bitcoin mining equipment manufacturer holds up to its promises. The company will indeed become the first ever major publicly traded Bitcoin company. Not only is this, sorry about that, the mouth's gone dry. Not only is this possible, but the likeness of Bitfury making its way into the portfolio of the mainstream investors is quickly becoming nothing shy of reality.
There we go, Dean. We must trust it now that it's dripping into Wall Street, mate.
Yeah. Well, it's obvious, won't it? It'll end up into mainstream, and then it's going to get taken over if it's not already been planned by the elite.
When was this posted?
It was funded by the CIA.
Yesterday, this 24th of June.
There is a certain amount of evidence out there. Some people have looked into it to a fair degree. There is a certain amount of evidence to show that the CIA had a hand in funding the startup that became Bitcoin. This is to do with digital currency. It's all trendy. Everybody jump on the trend. It's so great. You'll make yourself so truly free and independent because they can't get at your money because it's digitally secured. Bullshit. That's exactly what they want. They want everybody to have a digital cred stick, a credit stick.
They find the guy who made it. He was in America, a Chinese guy.
Mm-hmm.
Or
was that not a
so
pseudonym?
did the mainstream made us believe, and then they never followed up on it.
I think they came out with a name. I think they came out with a name, and then, as you said, they came out with this mad.
Yeah, I remember cameras at his front door. Like, did you stop Bitcoin? And he said no comment. But he was in America, so maybe that's telling.
There was rumours, and I think I even heard this through Alex Jones, so take it with AJ pinch of salt. I think Alex Jones was speculating that Max Kaiser was involved with the startup of Bitcoin, but I don't know if that was him just speculating at the time.
Yeah, he's been hyping this shit like crazy because he probably had a shitload of them, and the value dropped like hell.
It was network selling. He was beating up Max Kaiser and planting a viral marketing seed into people to go and buy Bitcoin via Max Kaiser, blah, blah, blah.
Kaiser is a gold guy, as far as I know. So.
Yeah.
You get a free radiation pill with every Bitcoin you buy from Kaiser.
A tin of Manky Mango.
Manky Mangarine.
I want some of his male vitality. I think I need it because, you know.
Time's catching up with you. Well, let's just see if we can dip quickly into the chat. There's another view in. How you doing?
Yeah, I think we lost Peter. I think I saw him. He left a message in the chat room saying he's lost connections. I'm not sure why he's still showing up as in the Hangout. It's probably just a Google mess up.
Well, we've still got. I think he was signed in. Well, technical stuff, man. He was signed in at the 2 different places at some point. But Peter, if you find your way back in, mate, obviously batter in. That's not a problem. So just have a look in the chat. I'll see if I can find some context to what the chat's speaking about. There's Peter saying, keep dropping the connection, so I'll call at a night. So catch you later on, Peter, probably watch you next Wednesday. So Peter Howard's name's in the chat. If you want to find the channel where Cookies and Peter's show is, click on Peter Howard's name, subscribe to his channel, and next Wednesday, in and around 8 PM UK time, you'll get Cookie and Peter's show. Just before we kick off here at 10 bells. There's Spec B37, nice to see you in the chat, it's a new name. Already I've smoked myself, bust, but I learn a lot under the influence, I feel. What are you smoking? I don't know. Madonna S, anyone see the Clinton Chronicles? Can't say I have Madonna yet. Don't know if that rings a bell with anybody. Olmit saying, today you could buy the same value of an item with a gold sovereign as you could 100 years ago. It's all part of the mass manipulation of the currency, the fact that it's all a bunch of crap. There's Truther in the chat. How you doing, Truther? It's a new name in. Mind what we said about Frankie Boyle, Kip. He was on Max Kaiser. Yes, Soprano fan was. He's very much. He's been involved in the artist Taxi Driver. He's been interviewed by him quite a lot of times. Very much pushing the socialist meme. And it could be argued you do actually. You see
the comedians are entering together with Russell Brand and probably a couple more. What's that name? Who is running for politician now?
Bez.
No.
Bez, as you're talking about Bez from the Happy Mondays, he's running for council.
Eddie Izzard.
Eddie Izzard.
Mm-hmm.
So I've not heard that.
He is very much on this Agenda 21 thing, I think.
Yep.
And he's going political. So.
Now I just noticed we've got Vladimir. In the. Sorry, Cookie.
Sorry, mate, jumping on you. I just wanted to add in as well. Somebody said about like buying into money when I mentioned buying silver. As I said, that's just what I tell people who insist that that's what they want to do. They want to buy something like that. I'm trying to encourage people to invest. If they've got money to spend and willing to spend it, I would encourage them to buy things that will be practically useful to them, like a reverse osmosis machine, books, you know, stuff like that. Don't just stick it in a pot and sit on it, as it were. Yeah.
A cabin in the woods would be good also. They
Yeah,
are not
buying
scary
land.
horror places.
Yeah, buying land, buying seeds, all this kind of stuff. Getting yourself an old CB radio, ham radio, all this kind of stuff, not just sticking it in a pot and sitting on it. Sorry, mate. Go on.
I don't know how many people in the room will get this joke, but an important thing as well is stock up in toilet paper. I'll explain that joke another time. I notice we've still got Vladimir in the room and Steve in the room. We've also just been joined by John. So John, if you want to take yourself off mute and say hello, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the hangout, man.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
How you doing, John? Nice to see you, man. Nice for you to get involved, mate. So, is it just a quick hello you want to say, or you want to add to anything we've been chatting about, or you want to bring up any topics of your own or whatnot, mate?
To be honest with you, I've just got in. I've been out with my fiance all night long, and I haven't had a chance to keep up. So I don't know what's been going on. Don't know what the kind of conversation that's been going on at the moment. I've had a quick
I'm sorry, we're talking about the UK column being shut down, the Leveson inquiry, sort of along the lines of press censorship in the UK now affecting social media and stuff. I don't know whether you caught any of the news about the UK columns videos all being taken down from the interwebs today, John.
I haven't. No, as I say, it's not been a big day for internet use for me today. Something that I'll have to jump on and have a look at, and maybe come on a bit later, get onto another device, and do a bit of background while I've been listening to you all.
John, are you trying to tell me you've actually been out living life today and doing something other than staring at a computer screen? That's really out of order, man.
Yeah, it's out of the ordinary for me. It's a big change. I've gone through a big change recently, so I don't know. I'm just trying to make the most of what I've got at the moment. I've got the kids. I've got my fiance, and I'm just trying to make the most of life at the moment. Yeah, I've always had an interest in what goes on in the world, and over the years I've learnt more and more and more, and I've finally found you guys here, and suddenly my knowledge is just starting to explode. So I've just really enjoyed watching you guys, learning from you guys, and just getting some inspiration for my life, and carrying on like that.
Moving forward as well, mate, the more you get involved in stuff, I'm hoping that we're going to actually learn something from you as well. I mean, ultimately, hopefully we're all here to learn from each other. Everybody's got their own wee piece of the puzzle or their own wee caveat to add and stuff. So, again, people shouldn't be put off with the fact, oh, I can't come into the room, what am I going to say, what am I going to contribute? I haven't stared at the TV for 12 hours solid today. You can come in the room and say as little as you want, even if it's changing the subject, just saying hello, a wee bit about your own circumstances, how you found yourself here. Feel more than welcome. So, John, kick about in the room, mate, and if there's anything that comes up you want to add to or elaborate on, just chime in, mate, and if we see you chatting, we'll hopefully try and give you your space and let you add to the conversation as it goes on, John. All right, so welcome to the room, mate. Nice for you to get involved. I know we've caught you in the chat room and that quite a lot, so it's good to finally actually put a name and a voice to the face. So I'm glad you joined us, John, and getting involved in stuff. And that goes for everybody in the chat. There's a lot of people in the chat tonight, so thanks to everybody that's got involved, man. And again, right underneath the live stream in the About box, you will get the link to the Google Plus Hangout. So anybody that wants to come in, just to say hi or what have you, feel free. I notice in the chat there's a few new people. There's Mitty Bush's in, Another View, 5 Dinners, and alternative. Murdering those names, but I'm doing my best. And I think I said hello to everybody in the chat. There's a lot of chat, and they're chatting amongst themselves, which is good to see. But harder for me to keep an eye on the context and add to it. So thanks to everybody that's in the chat. Let me see. Well, what else can we talk about? I've got a few things here. Cookie, I don't know if there's anything in particular that came across. Oh, here's actually something that I just wanted to throw in, just for a wee bit of shits and giggles, but I kind of love this stuff. I need to say this was JP, and it pointed this out to me earlier on, but for no other real great reason other than the 33, which 33. It's a magic number. So here's www.army.mil, the official homepage of the United States Army. Don't you just love it? So Army announces 33,000 positions now available to women. This was out on the 20th of June. So happy days. Not only are your sons now going to get put in the firing line because of feminism, we're now going to send women into go and die for the country as well. Happy days. So Secretary of the Army John N. McHugh signed a directive authorising more opportunities for women to die in the name of nothing. For women to serve in a wider range of roles within the Army. This authorisation results in the opening of about 33,000 positions in units that were once closed to women, said Colonel Linda Simo, Chief of the Command Programmes and Policy Division at the Directorate of Military Personnel Management, Army G.u.n.n. The 30-day congressional notification required by law before implementing this change in policy was completed on the 7th of April. Soon our formations down to company level will begin having female soldiers arrive for duty to serve in positions one close to women, said Lieutenant General Howard B. Broomberg, Deputy Chief of the Staff, Army G.u.n.n. However, this will not happen overnight. We will continue to incrementally fill these positions with soldiers who have the ability, are qualified, and have the proven performance to complete missions, he said. So happy days, man. There you go. Feminism. More women are going to go and die in the name of their country, and who knows, they might get raped with their own soldiers along the way as well, just for a wee added extra Brucey bonus. You never know. The US Army is the gift that keeps giving. So I just thought that was funny. For number one, the 33. It was only yesterday, only a couple of days ago, we were talking about Satan's rocket going up and delivering 33 nuclear warheads. I mean, 33 satellites and stuff. So Cookie, there's Dean getting an article up. So Cookie, I was going to say, do you think that's a good thing for women? New equal rights. They're now allowed to die with the shittinsry of the United States men.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
They burned their bra just to be put a bullet in their heads, man.
Yeah, I can rant quite vociferously about it, but basically it just comes down to that. It's like the machine wants more blood, doesn't it? Yeah, let's give them what they've been engineered to demand via the bullshitism of feminism, the agenda of feminism. Yeah, and say, yeah, you want to play in our pitch, you can come along and play in our pitch, you can get on the front line just the same as all the men and get shot and stabbed and whatever else. Great, yeah.
This is kind of
Israeli.
Yeah.
This is Israeli warfare.
Because Peter, I don't know how it works in Israel. Like, do the women conscripts in Israel get given the same duties as the men?
Yep.
Do you know?
And men are more hesitant to shoot at women. That's why they do it.
Are you being sexist?
No, but they are.
So the advert kind of goes like this. Women, are you sick of doing the most important job in the world and bringing up children to be independent, free-thinking individuals? Well, why don't you join up and become a tax slave like the rest of all the men? And now we were actually going to give you the right to line up and die in the name of your country as well. Sign here, burn your bra, and line up to be shot in the name of your country. Happy days. I mean, I don't know why women can't see through this. They've been took away from the most important job in the world, which is bringing up children and just.
That's second, breeding soldiers.
They've just became breeders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is Sparta. There's a lot to be said about the ideology of the Western, not just the Western world, it's most of the modern world. It's based on the same kind of principles. You want to be a citizen, you've got to be prepared to fight. We must have perpetual war. And when it comes down to it, even the women must pick up a weapon and fight.
And it even goes into the asexual propaganda. Well, not so much the asexual, but the non-gender Pacific agenda that's going on just now to try and mould the sexes into one entity. So a woman can kill.
Will the Army Healthcare Benefit Programme include free storing of your eggs? So for those women that are going to the front line that will risk being killed, they can have their eggs pre-frozen, ready to be used in the cloning machines.
And let's not also forget the amount of, let's say, less than ethical experiments that are done on troops, I would argue, in every country. I can't remember the exact details, but there's even the British Army, there's records of them. I think it was mustard gas as well as other things getting used on their own troops, literally deploying troops to an area, hitting them with mustard gas, and then writing down in a sheet how they react.
And you can research a place called Porton Down, Porton, and then there's a second word, DOWN. It was the main site where the UK Army did their various biological and psychological testing. And that's not the only place, it's just one place that's now, a lot of the information has been declassified, so you can find some of the interesting stuff, such as the LSD experiments they did, stuff like that. The post-traumatic stress kind of experiments, shell shock and all that kind of stuff.
Sleep deprivation and all that.
Yep.
Was that the place where there was suicides as well, Cookie, or was that another military base where the guy got shot while he was on patrol, it got put down as a suicide, then after years of campaigning it eventually came out that the guy was actually shot by one of his superiors or other squad mates? I don't know if that was...
It does ring a bell, yeah. I can't remember the details properly, but yeah, it rings a bell. It's one of those places very relevant, obviously, to here in the UK, but it's one of those places where you can clearly see the way the system, the state, etc., will quite happily do all this kind of nasty stuff. And that's not in any way getting into the black sites where you're not going to find information about them.
Well, I just pulled up some wiki facts on Porton Down. So Porton Down has also been involved in human testing, and I think this is the suicide I was referring to. Not 100% sure, but it does ring a bell. A second inquest into Ronald Maddison commenced in May 2004. I think this is actually the right time frame. After many years of lobbying by his relatives and their supporters, it later found that the death of Ronald Maddison to be unlawful. I think initially they put it down to suicide. This was challenged by the Ministry of Defence, but the verdict was upheld and the case settled. Surprise, surprise. In February 2006, 3 ex-servicemen were awarded compensation in an out-of-court settlement, after claims they were given LSD without their consent. Lucky bastards. I mean, poor sods. I mean, but in all seriousness though, right? Imagine
they were not given a nice trip, mate. They were given massive doses, multiple cc's of pure LSD. You wouldn't want that, no.
Yeah. I think even no matter what the dose was, Cookie, I think if you were given that sort of a things without your knowledge, and then you came onto a trip, if you weren't if you didn't have the understanding that you had taken a hallucinogenic, you could, God knows what you would think that was going on. And let's not forget about the commonly well, a lot of people, well, the MK Ultra LSD experiments where they would get a hooker, go out and obviously entrap a man, take them back to a hotel room. She would then lace them with LSD, leave the room, and then there would be cameras and monitoring equipment inside the room, part of the MK Ultra experiment, just to monitor what these people would do full of acid when they weren't aware of it. Just again, monitoring and seeing how you can mind melt people when they're full of hallucinogenics. So again, MK Ultra, probably arguably the exact same experiments have happened in many a country. So yeah, that was the Porterdown article there. So Daiz, I don't know, is there anything you've came across at all today, mate, that you would like us to touch on at all tonight, man? I don't know whether you've came across any news stories that we've not covered at all today, Daiz. Hold on, Daiz. Oh, there we go, Daiz.
It was about the Porterdown and the animal experimentation they were doing.
Right. I've got the page up there. Let me see.
It was just interesting to look at the language they were using. The 3 R's.
So there's here's the use of animals. DSTL, Porterdown, is also involved in animal testing, where the 3 R's of reduce the number of animals used, refine animal procedures, and replace animal tests with non-animal tests are used as...
I was just looking at the language.
The language of the 3 R's? You're talking about the reading, writing, and arithmetic?
Yeah, just human tests. Was, you know, like reduce the amount of us, refine how we operate, and replace the ones who won't adapt to their system.
Yep, probably exactly. These are probably the exact same sort of a procedures that we're using in the human beings in there. So it says that the Defence Science and Technology Laboratory complies. Well, that's for sure. And a lot of people would argue as well that the people at the top see us as nothing more than animals as well. Okay, just JP's just got in touch, so I'm going to send him through a link and see whether he wants to come in the room. So just send out JP a link. So Daiz, I don't know. Sorry, Dean. I don't know if there's any news stories or anything that you've came across today, mate, that we haven't picked up on tonight at all. You with us, Dean? There's Daiz back in the room. Dean, I don't know what's happening here, mate. Your microphone, everything's up on this end, so we aren't getting any audio for you just as of now. Oh, how are you doing? So, Dean, have you came across anything today that you'd like to touch on at all, buddy?
Just the Nigerian bombing. Was 21. There's 21 died and 52 injured. Bomb attack on a busy shopping district in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, has killed at least 21 people and injured 52 more. The blast near the popular Banex Plaza shopping complex in Wales district could be heard from miles away and sent plumes of smoke into the air. Police say, sorry about
Do you know if there's any footage on it, man? There was just like
There
a
is.
picture I'd seen earlier.
There is footage on it, but it is BBC.
Is that Boko Haram?
I'm not sure whether you're aligned. I'll show you the what I'm actually reading at the moment.
Boko the scam.
It's BBC Bashir Sahad Adabullah says no one has claimed responsibility so far. You go back to it. Police say, well, this is a bit of a contradiction for what I've just read out actually. Police say a suspect has been arrested. No group has claimed responsibility. Islamic I know you said mutant then. Islamic militant group Boko Haram has bombed targets in Abazu and across northern Nigeria.
For what I can tell with the Boko Haram, their stronghold at the moment, tends to be boots on the ground, is in the north and east, the two northeast provinces of Nigeria, and I believe the capital is down on the coast, so like very much away from Boko Haram, the scams stronghold up in the northeast. So again, this could be similar to ISIS bombing positions inside Baghdad. They're not actually physically there, boots on the ground with a military presence or a rebel presence, if you want to call it that. But they do have agents or whatnot in that area doing suicide bombing, trying to disrupt the usual goings on and stuff. So was that today that happened, Dean? I think I did see it coming across my headlines.
25th of June 2014, latest update to 2121.
Aye, so just straight off the press, man.
Yeah.
Hang on. They killed 21, and that update was at 2121.
Yeah.
Right.
Why do you care attacking like Israel and stuff like that? Who they're opposed to, apparently. Anybody?
But why don't they attack Israel? Is that what you're saying, Daiz?
Well, why aren't these like groups of like anti-Zionist groups and that? And why did they never attack poor brown people?
No, they have to, like the I can't remember the name of it, the People's Front of Judea. They don't attack the actual enemy. They just show their displeasure at the enemy by killing their own people.
So right. Sorry, should have done that.
You're thinking too sensibly, mate. That's what it is.
More for common sense here. Come on. Yeah, well, nobody really asks that question. Why the hell are all these like Al Qaeda related groups apparently not sort of a bothering with any Israeli targets and whatnot? I mean, recently the anti-Jew, the anti-Semite card has only been sort of pulled with inside Ukraine when it first started kicking off, with mosques and a lot of the far right groups actually going after temples and whatnot inside Ukraine. But as you're saying, Daiz, you heard recently in the Golan Heights there was one Israeli teenager killed, and then Israel hits back with 9 military strikes inside Syria. But apparently ISIS is meant to be operating inside Syria as well, but they're receiving medical assistance from Israel in the Golan, and I think that's pretty much confirmed. I've seen it through a lot of sources that Israel and the UN peacekeepers that were in the Golan were actually offering medical help and assistance to the so-called rebels, which we're now told is ISIS, who hates the West and everything they stand for, and wants to bring down wants to bring around the fall of Israel. So very good point, Daiz. Nobody can answer that. Why Al Qaeda don't really hit any Israeli targets? Coincidence? I think not. Yeah, is there any other, well, JP, JP, you with us? How you doing, man? I'm just getting confused. There's too many Johns in the world.
Yeah, it's a very common name.
Very good.
I don't know when you tuned in, JP, but we were just talking about the 33,000 soldier places that were opened up to the kind women of America. They can now go and die in the name of a country as well.
Yeah, I must have just missed that. It was me that put you onto that. Thanks for the credit. But
if you were listening, mate, you would have known that I actually did say that. But
did
anyway.
you? Oh well, thank you very kindly. What were you? So I mean, what's the other guys in the hangout?
Again,
Opinion on it? Coincidence or what?
Well, the 33 is a coincidence, but again, it's more Women's Lib, the Women's Liberation Army doing some burn your bra and end up in the firing line to get killed with your.
Do you know? I honestly can see conscription coming back to America. I think that's maybe why they gave them their black president, and I don't mean to sound racist when I say that.
Isn't there, and I can't remember where I heard this over the last few days, several days, that the actual joining up rate, you know, the people joining the military has actually dropped the numbers. So this again is bringing in the suggestion that they're doing something for equality reasons, for feministic reasons, but in actuality it's more to do with trying to entice people to come and sign up because they ain't getting the numbers they want.
So, mate, it's the beneficence of our ruling elite. Again, it's all for our good. Like the rabbits and those experiments, it's all for the rabbits' good. They're trying to reduce the suffering of the rabbits. You know?
Orwellian Wonderland, somebody's stuff they chat about, man. The double speak is just unbelievable. Once you're able to actually read between the lines of a lot of these news articles, when you pick through them, word for word, line by line, and quote by quote, it's unbelievable the manipulation that goes on. It just blows me away every time, and it's people have the eyes to see. You can do this stuff yourself. Just think of the BBC as QVC. Understand that every word, every picture has went through a very harsh editorial process and is there for some rhyme or some reason, i.e. Russell Brand on Newsnight, Alex Jones on the Sunday stuff. I mean, all along those lines.
There's a reason it's named Tell Your Vision.
Tell a lie vision. But the BBC is there to actually, like, the BBC is there to sell you bullshit, full stop. Once you come from that premise, seeing the crap that they spew out is very, very easy. Apply that method to every other mainstream news outlet and mainstream alternative news outlet, and you can't go much wrong if you try to critically think about all the information that comes by your attention. So I know Cookies want to get to his bed.
Yeah, I've got to shoot off. Got to get up early in the morning, and I know Peter's just gone as well, so good night to Peter. Thank you to all the people in the chat room, and thank you for hosting it, mate. It's been a good chat again. But yeah, I'm going to pick up.
And you've got Peter Howard's YouTube in the chat. I'm not sure if Cookies popped up there yet. I think he might have done. So you better get Peter and Cookies channel for their Wednesday night shows kicking off in and around 8 o'clock UK, and it follows on nicely to this show just after 10 o'clock. And I think what I'll do moving forward is I'll keep an eye out. Well, the last few weeks I've been watching Cookies and Peter's show before kicking off this, so I think moving forward I'll let those guys wrap up and then start this off. So there's not. So we're not competing, Cookie.
That sounds a bit like a schedule. Have you got your £99 fee?
Oh shit, man! But hold on, I'm doing it for charity.
For UK.
All right, guys, take care. Thank you all. Good chatting to you.
Thank you, mate.
Right.
Well, guys, that's it's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm going to quickly dip into the chat. I don't know if there's any particular subjects that anybody wants to bring up. We've still got 3 Johns in the room just to help things out. Daiz, JP, and John. And we've got Steve that's still in the room, and Dean. So, guys, just before I dip into the chat, is there anything in particular that we haven't touched on that you would like us to go over at all?
No, I don't really know what all you've been talking about tonight, to be honest. I've been occupied with other things. But,
the UK columns videos have been pulled. They now fall under a regulator for television on-demand services. So, in reality, if they manage to get away with this legally, JP, what we're doing just now could be regulated by TV on demand, by the TV on demand regulator, which would mean we would have to pay a fee to offer up TV programming to the general public, even if we were a charity, etc. So we're screwed, mate.
So we're basically getting Holland's system, like we've been talking about for a while.
Well, it's
going to be included in our taxes that we can't avoid.
No, this isn't to do with the TV license. This is to do with I think like 2008 they brought out legislation to deal with online TV on demand. But it was primarily set up to regulate adult services to make sure that they were qualifying people as being over 18 years of age before allowing them in. Again, the drip effect. We're only microchipping your dog, so it's a drip effect, where they started crap off, and now they're dripping the legislation, the regulatory body that they put in place. Again, it sounded all good at the time. Well, we need to make sure that under 18 aren't getting exposed to porn. Well, okay, set up that regulatory body, and now we're getting screwed in the arse for it. They're now applying TV on demand regulatory regulations to YouTube videos. So if they deem that your content is TV-like, TV programming-esque, they can then come on and put you in the bracket of on TV on demand. So IJP, maybe tomorrow when you've got a bit of time, mate, look into that stuff, because
wow, that sounds interesting, and I will look into that. Can I ask, did you fully watch and read that video I sent you about reclaiming our sovereignty and our crown over independence?
No, mate, if you want to go into it in detail, feel free, batter in, man.
I can't stress how important I think this is for every single person in Scotland. I've been, everyone in Scotland's basically, having an internal fight over, do we do it, do we don't, what's everyone going to think? The hard facts of the matter are well hidden, and I found, I've basically got a hold of a video that highlights a lot of the facts off of the Scottish Sovereign's website. Because Google Hangouts is so internet, what would be the word? Whoring. I can't play videos and stuff while doing this. I don't know what's going on, so I can't really read out the text and say it. But so suffice to say, basically, here's what happened. Excluding the years, we had a king. England had a queen. They were related cousins. King James VII of Scotland and Queen Elizabeth I of England. Now what happened is King James actually died, and his crown, as in the crown of Scotland, went over down to the Queen Elizabeth, and then they tried unifying it, but it was never properly unified. Scotland retained their sovereignty, but to this day there is a meme and a lie that is being propagated that there is only one crown in one kingdom, and that's simply not true, but nobody seems to know this. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to inform people that we actually we shouldn't be going for independence. We should be going for either being a republic or you know, getting our crown back, and we can make who we want king, you know, and that is the, you know, the reality of the situation. I mean, what sounds better do you, you know, out of all the options? I can't fault my logic on it.
Politicians will never give you your freedom.
I'd still select
We've
already any form of monarchy.
Pardon?
I would still select like none of the above because I don't believe in any form of monarchy.
A republic isn't a monarchy.
But if you were saying like creating our own king, that would be our own kingdom.
It would.
So,
that's at the public's discretion. I mean, in Scotland, the Queen only sits on the throne because we allow it, whereas in England, that's not the case, because they don't have like any sovereignty left. You need to go in and watch the video and see the facts for yourself. I'm not doing it justice, but the gist of what I'm saying is correct.
Well,
And it's quite what?
I do disagree. I was still, I don't know. None of them seem like an attractive option at all for me. You know.
What's wrong with a republic?
It's well, could you describe
a republic of the people for the people? You know.
Well, who would lead this republic?
Would there
be a Soviet?
There wouldn't be a leader. There would be loads and loads and loads of local councils.
So it'd be a Soviet system.
Just a very community-based local system, giving communities the power to do what they want.
So
Pardon?
Would it be run by council?
Would a republic only if we wanted it to be?
Well, JP, I think
the council is a man-made invention. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about going back to grassroots here.
Yeah, but you're talking about reclaiming the sovereignty. Obviously, like you've got a sovereign head of state. That
I don't believe we ever lost our sovereignty. This is where the doublethink comes into it. You know,
if you look at the Queen, she's the sovereign state. She's the sovereign head of
England.
Right, she's not the she's the Queen of England and Great Britain, I think it is.
Yeah, the United Kingdom, and they had to call it the United Kingdom because they couldn't call it, you know, Scotland. She couldn't call her the Queen of Scotland.
I think what the same JP is the Queen of England isn't our sovereign monarch. She's our monarch by.
Yeah, and they've hid the crown basically, and they've not let the, you know, there's this. That no one's ever talked about it, you know what I mean? Like why we don't have a king, blah blah blah. It's not even taught in our schools, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? It's Americans.
Would you like a king of Scotland?
Pardon?
Would you like a king of Scotland?
I'd like to be king of Scotland.
Would you like a king of Scotland?
More than a king of England or Queen of England.
Yeah.
But that's just nitpicking. I want the Republic.
Just only a question.
I'm for the Republic, sovereign Republic. But that's my position on it. You know.
Ultimately, if you wanted a republic in place and you were going to go down the sovereignty route, you would like have to reclaim the sovereignty by using the, I don't know, like what JP's talking about there, where does the sovereignty lie?
It's not even. I mean, like if everyone knew about the stuff, and I mean, we could fix it in 10. Like the entire population could fix it in 10 years. Just skip a generation of signing birth certificates, and that would end the system basically. You know, because you would have so many people kicking about Britain that were sovereigns to Britain that weren't owned by the corporation of the UK. They couldn't be taken away. They're not subject to the laws. They could do whatever they wanted. I wish my mum hadn't. I actually said to my mum, I forgive you, Mum. I forgive you for signing that birth certificate and giving me away to the government. And she said, thanks. But, you know, that's the kind of exchanges we had.
time, but mate, she wouldn't have had the same information and all that.
Thing is, she doesn't even know now what day of the week it is, man. But that's neither here nor there. But that's, I mean, that's another thing that people need to know about. You know, all this, you know, independence for Scotland, blah blah blah. What about, you know, important things like, you know, birth registrations and everything? I think everyone's getting sidetracked, and it's, I don't know, it's not important. That election that's coming up is not important to me because it's about as important as fiat money, you know.
It's an illusion of choice. It's basically.
I believe it's called the Delphi technique. If you want to get into it.
It's a narrative. It's creating a narrative. It's saying, here's your two choices. You know, instead of, you don't like Coca-Cola. Well, here's some Pepsi Max.
Yeah, because you're never gonna vote for Lib Dem.
I remember David Icke talking about it in 2007. He was talking about how Scotland, etc., would become vassal states of the EU. Telling people for a long, long time this is going to happen. It's a centralisation of control. It's how fascist control system works.
Yeah, back in the 1920s, there was a guy called Lord Bertram Russell, and he wrote a book about, I think it was a book, I don't know, but I read some of his writings, you know, and he was talking about through like how diet and injections they're planning to mold people to be docile, industrious, and, you know, it's basically just zombies like you see all around us. Sorry, you know, but that's
the illusion of choice, though. That's why the voting, they still take part in that sort of.
Well, everyone's being led down a rat race of, you know, a rat maze, and, you know, we're all ultimately going down this digital route and everything. It's all a bit much.
Well, guys, just before we start wrapping up, I was going to quickly jump into the chat even, just make sure I'm saying hi to everybody. So, Michael McDonough X, another view, 5 diners, Polly, Bo Radley, how yous all doing? Anna Wallace is saying Kip is bordering on supporting Peteraxy, the importance of motherhood, most important job put on the planet. I think if women, when people say men and women are equal, I think they're putting women down, to be honest. But anyway, 5 diners saying half Scot, half East London. Another view, there is a history of Jews slaughtering other Jewish tribes as they are doing today. Polly saying the Travistock Institute. Can we read it there? JP, I'm just muting you up to stop the keyboard noises, man. So there's Olmert saying some buildings in Portadown have shutters which come down in an emergency, trapping people inside, germ warfare. I think Blazing Stars also said Portadown, here I come. I think that was talking about the LSD experiments. Have you heard of Jacob the Ladder, the film that was based on Agent Orange? I haven't, another view, but I'd be interested in checking that out. Mitty Bush, Operation Midnight Climax. Not sure what operation you're talking about there, Mitty Bush. Is that your own private operation? Who knows? Jacob's Ladder, brilliant film. Anna Wallace. There's Del Boy in. How you doing, Del Boy? I'd say get involved, mate, but we are actually trying to wrap things up. But there was a link below for anybody and everybody that wanted to join in. So there's Soprano fan, and Bass is in. I got to go and eat. Me too as well. Bass. I need to go and eat myself. There's Tazzy in. How you doing, Tazzy? Nice to see you in the chat as always. Blazing Stars, I'm not sure if I've said hi to you. Liza's in. Olmert as well. Soprano fan. Bo Radley, Del Boy, Tazzy. Spec B37. Liza, Del Boy, Blazing Stars. Wonka Vision, the Yorkshire Regiment was out in force in Sheffield City Centre last week, recruiting. First time I've seen them promoting themselves like this. When I hear things like that, Wonka Vision, I just think back to, Jesus, I think I must have been 18 or 19 going up the job centre and the army walking around like vultures. And I kid you not, I noticed it at the time. I wasn't. Like, now in hindsight, I can see a lot more what was going on. But they were picking out, let's say, the dumber looking ones, or the young disillusioned teenagers lining up at the job shop to sign on the dole. Me being one of the dumber looking ones, they came up to me, and after speaking to me for about 2 seconds, realised that they weren't going to get anywhere. So there's Del Boy and Soprano saying night to Cookie, Huxley saying good night as well. K9 Griffin, how you doing? Nice to see you in. Made in the UK is in the chat as well, so nice to see you all in the chat. Just do a quick refresh, and I can quickly make sure I've got Simon Boyle. How you doing, Simon? There's Mark. How you doing? See you later. See you later, Mark. I know you don't like to be called commonly known as Mark, so just keep it to Mark. So I think I've said hi to everybody. Everybody in the chat. It's been very busy in the chat. A lot of people. I think we had like 38 viewers or something at one point. So thanks to everybody that's tuned in. In the future, don't feel apprehensive at all. Feel free to batter in. Even if it's just like John tonight coming along, saying hi, introducing himself. You don't have to be up to speed with what's going on. You can sit there, contribute as little or as much as you like. Even a few people that have joined in have been chatting away in the chat, which I find very hard to keep track of. There's too many chat boxes. But thanks to Steve, thanks to John for calling in and getting involved. Thanks to all the usual boys, Daiz, Dean, and Peter. Peter's away at his bedtime now. He's in the future over in Holland there. Thanks to the other Peter and Cookie for getting involved as always. Thanks to the 3 Johns, although there's JP, Daiz and John, but just to confuse me. So thanks to everybody in the room. Thanks to everybody in the chat for tuning in. It's been a cracker. I'm looking forward to watching the UK column tomorrow at 1 bells to see what they have to add about what's going on with regards to the censorship, or the perceived censorship that they are experiencing right now. Interesting days indeed. Just looking on the broadcast, we've got 33 watching, so I think it's a good time to sign off. Guys, just before we sign off, is there anything that anybody wants to get out, say? Daiz, you'll be doing your dark room tomorrow, mate, I believe?
Yep. Kicking it off at 10 o'clock, sorry. I'll be looking at some of the psychological tricks that's getting used on the female side of the sort of ongoing violence that we're seeing. Just seeing some psychological tricks coming through in the BBC that I hope to share with you tomorrow. So,
fractalfrequency.co.uk, you'll get the broadcast on there no matter what channel it's on. So make sure you pop along there. You'll get the address and the about box as well. It's not hyperlinked for whatever reason, but it is fractalfrequency.co.uk. You'll just be able to copy and paste that into your browser, and that will get you there. So Daiz will be kicking off Daisy's Darkroom tomorrow night at 10 bells on fractalfrequency.co.uk. Make sure you keep your eye on fractalfrequency.co.uk. Depending on whatever channel the programme is getting broadcast on, can change on a day-to-day basis. So it's always a good port of call to make sure that you're not missing anything going on, and anything that Daiz, Dean or anybody else is putting up on fractalfrequency.co.uk. Thumbs this up, share it. If you're watching after the fact, you're not watching it live, still feel free to leave a comment. I do check back and try and get back try and respond to as many comments as I can, just to let you know I'm reading them. I do dip back in and read them. Any suggestions or anything, more than welcome as well. So thanks to everybody in the chat. Make sure you check out Daisy's Darkroom tomorrow at 10 bells UK time. Fractalfrequency.co.uk. Thanks to JP for getting involved. Thanks to everybody in the chat. It's been a cracking night. Thanks to Cookie, Peter. Thanks to everybody. And for just now, that is done. Another Kips call in finished. Catches.